We're back.
Hey.
Hello.
Well, you might have seen our vlog, but we're back here to record a podcast episode for you guys.
Yep. It is July 21st, 2024. Episode 3 of the Sacred Grove podcast. Today we'll be talking about veganism, about the planet, about the earth, about how we view veganism, about our takes on veganism.
And our personal experiences.
And our personal experience, of course, about veganism.
Yeah.
Just talking through what we believe veganism is, how we believe it should be perceived. So what's the definition of veganism?
Well, according to the Vegan Society, which was founded in 1944.
We'll put the website down in the description too, so you can look at it.
This is the definition that is pretty much upheld by most vegans, or at least known by most vegans. Veganism is a philosophy and way of living which seeks to exclude, as far as is possible and practicable, all forms of exploitation of and cruelty to animals for food, clothing, or any other purpose, and by extension, promotes the development and use of animal-free alternatives for the benefit of animals, humans, and the environment. In dietary terms, it denotes the practice of dispensing with all products derived wholly or partly from animals.
Holy... I did it.
You're funny.
We're not gonna bash anybody for eating meat or doing anything like that, but we do think we could do better as a collective people to unite.
As a society, as another creature that we share the planet with, countless others. Who are we to say we are any better than the other animals on the planet?
Yeah.
To the point that we let them suffer. So that's kind of where we come at it from, and it's not that we think everyone should be vegan.
Yeah.
I guess I'd want to start there.
I guess, we could start there.
We can start there, and then we can circle back to what it is, why we do it, that kind of thing. But just to give a little background on me, I'm graduated from college, but I did minor in cultural anthropology. I studied a lot about Native Americans and indigenous peoples around the world, especially in North and South America. So I'm very aware of the way animals have been used and, utilized for survival in a little bit more of a respectful and spiritual way, which I completely respect. And that is an entirely different category of animal use to what we fight today, which is factory farming in modern society. Because we live in this globalized, modern industrial world, we have access to anything we need to the point where it's not necessary to kill animals. We can get everything we need from a plant-based diet. That's my 2 cents on that. Unless you have some kind of medical issue that says you really can't stop eating it, there's no reason to say that you need it.
Exactly.
And there's no reason to say that it's for your survival. That might be kind of a hard place to start, but I wanted to get that out in the open.
I think it's valid to say that.
That's how I feel. For me, I don't see all these other animals as lower than me. And we shouldn't.
Well, they're intelligent creatures who have a life of their own. It's not like they don't have a family, and people don't realize that. I've come to realize when I see these animals, I think of how they have a community, they have a family, they have a wife, and
they have a whole way of life.
A husband. They have
friends.
It's just different forms of communication that we as humans don't understand completely ourselves. We're just slaughtering these animals for our own benefit.
Yeah.
We need the food. We don't need this much food. Yeah. We don't need all these factory farms. We don't need... Yeah. There's so much waste that goes into this.
Greed and corporate interest. And just no care for ethics. It's more about efficiency. So
it's just all about making money.
They want to make as much money as possible. And part of the issue is also that Western society and Western diet has been so meat heavy ever since factory farming really ramped up and people could afford to eat more meat, because meat used to be expensive. until they realized that they could factory farm them. You know, somebody figured it out how to care for a huge amount of animals at one time, and that allowed people to be able to afford meat, right?
Mm-hmm.
The big problem is that the Western diet has spread across the world.
Mm-hmm.
So there's places that used to eat way less meat eating a lot more, which has consequences not only to the animals, of course, but to our own health and to the environment's health, right? The planet and everything.
Exactly. When I think of a humane way to take another creature's life, remember the movie Avatar? The blue people, the tall people?
Yes.
You think like
I love that movie so much. It's one of my favorites.
They hunt for their food, but when they take the animal's life, they thank the animal for what it's giving them, and it's going back to the earth.
And they thank their higher power too.
Mm-hmm. They thank their higher power. Important. They thank the God they believe in, and they use everything from the animal. They don't waste it. They use literally everything. That's what I think and I believe in, is if you want to eat another creature, you should go out and do it yourself and see how hard it is to take another creature's life. 'Cause you can sit here and order a chicken sandwich off a menu and not even blink an eye.
Well, yeah, and that's like, people don't exactly consider where their like food comes from a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it can really be because of this cognitive dissonance, right? Mm-hmm. And if you don't know what that means, I can share a little definition for you.
Ahead. I'm going to take a sip.
But cognitive dissonance is the mental discomfort that results from holding two conflicting beliefs, values, or attitudes. So people tend to seek consistency in their attitudes and perceptions. So this conflict causes unpleasant feelings or unease or discomfort. So that would be like somebody saying that they love animals so much,
which a lot of people do,
ordering chicken nuggets, ordering a burger, having meat every day, stuff like that. It's this dichotomy that doesn't make sense, and vegans will often point this out to people in society,
makes people upset,
and it makes people angry. It's part of why we get a bad name, and we get judged, and we get bullied, and we get joked about. We don't get taken seriously. Mm-hmm. We get called soft. Like, we're not...
Like, I'm sorry, I care about animals.
Humans, we're not strong or something. But you really have to kill someone to be strong? No.
Literally, yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I thought that as being, quote-unquote, the most intelligent species, as humans like to believe, that we would understand this. Yeah. That we don't have to do this.
We're not even coming close to comprehending the animal language or the animal species.
Yeah, there's so much that we don't know about so many creatures. Mm-hmm. So, it gets very frustrating, and it gets very lonely.
It does.
How's it been feeling for you? I mean, you haven't been vegan as long as I have.
No, I mean, like,
what kind of backlash have you faced?
I mean, so, like, a little background on me. Like, I grew up on a farm up in Virginia. It was a dairy farm. I saw very, like, looking at it when you're a kid, you think this is all fun and games. Like, you go in, you feed the cows with the bottle. You go in there, they suck on your thumb. It's nice, it's cute. But what are you actually raising them for? To just produce milk and to produce more offspring and to artificially inseminate another.
And you're feeding it from a bottle because its mother can't.
Yeah, right? And so, like, I'm not going to go into detail on how everything's done because it is very grotesque and very gross. But they use these machines and they literally suction cup their udders.
I've heard that they bleed.
It looks very painful, and they're stuck.
And I haven't seen it in person, so I appreciate your perspective.
They're stuck in these tiny little crates with their heads in these little metal things, and they're standing for hours on end. They're getting milked. Imagine you have to get milked for an hour on end.
And they don't live as long as they're supposed to,
No,
right?
they don't.
They get infections, they get killed off
they pump them full of antibiotics, all these medicines that are going into your milk, actually. There's so much blood and so much nasty stuff in your milk.
Problem.
Yeah.
I don't know, a lot of people don't know about this, and they think that it's totally safe, but we are facing so much antibiotic resistance because of how many antibiotics they pump animals with in factory farming and animal agriculture.
Yeah,
they're doing that to prevent sickness from the conditions that these animals live in.
They're in,
and
like,
it is
one
having
by
consequences
one
on
crates.
our health.
Yeah.
I'm scared for the future because we're going to have huge outbreaks of disease that we can't stop anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know how people died a lot way back in the past? It's gonna come back.
Yeah,
and that's scary because people don't want to change the way they live. No. They want to keep living comfortably. You know, they don't want to face the fact that they have to change everything.
I mean, I get people grow up on farms. It's a way. It's their life. It's their livelihood to grow up on a farm.
Eating animals is partly cultural.
It is, but I think there's a better ethical way to do it. I myself don't know how to do that. I mean, I'm not there yet. I don't know how to do it. I don't know the steps towards that. But I think as a collective people, we could put our heads together and decide what we need to do. Like market more plant-based diets. Don't market these fast food commercials.
You have to keep into consideration that a lot of the reason why we don't see more advertising of plant-based products is because of the interests of the meat producers, because of these people that don't want to lose their money. They don't want to lose their shares. They even get subsidized by the government so that everything they make is cheaper, so people will continue to want to buy their products. But that's the problem, is they want to keep pushing and pushing plant-based back. They don't want to lose their money.
There's always this false marketing on like this healthy chicken nuggets and crap like that, but like, do you actually know what's in a chicken nugget?
Yeah, I mean, to go back to your point about how to, raise animals in a more sustainable or ethical way, there's this book that I read called Eating Animals by Jonathan Safran Foer. I can maybe put a picture in here.
We can put it in the description.
Yeah, or put it in the description.
We'll just put a link.
One of my favorite books that I read, but it's by a man who was becoming a father. So his son was soon to be born, and he and his wife had been on and off vegetarian vegans, like, for many years, and didn't quite stick to it and everything, but faced with the idea of becoming a father and raising a child, he wanted to know how to raise that child right, how to feed that child right. And that's what brought him on this journey to go around to different places, to meet producers, dairy farms, everything, and see how these animals live, the conditions of them, and even go to these family farms where they sustainably produce animals in a smaller, slower sense.
It's one of my pet peeves when they say this is grass-fed, this is cage-free.
Yes.
Like, that's just for better marketing.
Yeah,
like, I get it might be better for the animal, but like, I don't agree with that. It's just a better way for them to market and for people to who eat meat
that's a whole other issue.
It's for people to feel better about when they're buying things. I'm like, that's just it's so pointless to put that on, because it's just for us as humans to feel better for eating something that we know that's terrible.
Yeah. Well, the problem really does come from the fact that these are a lot of the time big business and not small families anymore. They're being bought out. They can't survive in the factory farming big business world.
I can speak for that. My farm was bought out for a slaughterhouse farm. It was a dairy farm. It was a family-owned dairy farm. It was a family-owned turkey house. We do have a turkey house. I myself don't participate in any of these actions anymore. But when I was a kid, it was looked at as fun, and it was looked at as a vacation for us to go up to the farm and for us to work on the farm all summer. And looking back, you would walk through the turkey house and you would see dead turkeys sitting there on the floor. And these turkey houses are like the size of like a warehouse, per se, a long warehouse, and they're stuffed full of these turkeys, and it smells. They're walking their own feces. And when you go and put the chickens in
his book that a chicken or a turkey would have less than a page of his book's worth of space.
They do. They're packed in so tight. And when you walk in there,
it's just a regular book.
Yeah.
That's where they are.
When you go, like, when I went and worked on the farm, I would go and put these little turkeys in they were little tiny chickens. Turkeys. They looked so cute. I would take them out one by one and put them in the little crate. But the workers, they take the boxes, they're in these giant boxes, and they dump them in there.
I know.
And if they're dead, they toss them. They just toss them away like they're nothing. And it's sad and it's scary that a human can think of another life like this. Like, if these were other human beings, how would you look at it? How would you see these humans sitting there?
Part of the problem is the desensitization. So in our society, I think I touched on this a little bit on like people seeing vegans as weak. Part of it comes from toxic masculinity. Some of it comes from not, seeming strong enough, or, being seen as weak in that way, right? I know I'm repeating myself, but that's where some of the problem comes from, is like you start with that and then slowly you lose touch with that emotional connection, that empathy and compassion that you have a lot of the time as a child. You learn to develop feelings of indifference about
it's when you're
animals.
young, it's deemed normal to eat. I mean, you don't have a choice. Your parents don't give you a choice.
No, they don't. They feed you and they don't tell you where they came from, and they don't tell you that the chicken you're eating is the same as a chicken. Yeah. But some parents do. There's been videos online where I've seen kids say, "I don't want to eat this anymore. It makes me sad," or why did it have to die? That's special.
Like, you see tiny little. We're looking at animals on the screen right now too.
Yeah, we're looking at baby animals.
Yeah, but like it's sad to think of like another life being just taken. Like, there's in cultures, they go out and they hunt their own food. Awesome, great. Why don't we do that? We're so numb and so like dissociated from our roots that we can go to a fast food chain and order a rotisserie chicken that's been frozen for months on end, put in preservatives. And it's just it's disgusting that we as humans will think like that. Like, I'm not gonna bash anyone for eating meat. Like, if you eat meat, okay,
that's for you. That's your journey. That's what I like to say. It's your journey. If you come to discover that you don't like doing it anymore, that would be amazing. But
it's your choice. It's your choice to eat meat if you want to.
I can't change you.
But just realize how much life you're taking away. How much you're destroying. Yeah. You're destroying a human's. You're destroying another animal's life.
I mean, take into consideration how easy it is for us to buy fast fashion, not knowing that there are children working in factories, people working for less than $1 they can't even live on, in terrible conditions, where they get hurt on the job and everything, have to work all day. Stuff like that. Yeah. We're completely detached from that.
And
it's
we
so
ourselves
easy for us to have fast fashion because it's so cheap.
Yeah, and like we
Same
ourselves
with all
aren't
the
perfect.
Animal products.
Like, we do our best every day to not consume animal products. There's something we do that harms
someone in the world. And I know that because I live in America. I know that my money is not always being used for the right things. And that does make me sad. Yeah, we try to do our best to spend our money wisely. I mean, it's kind of like the saying where it was like, vote with your dollar, because what you spend your money on does impact what happens in the world, right? Which is the reason why I try not to spend a lot of money, and I try to be particular about how I spend my money. Shopping at local places, going to
secondhand shops. Great. We don't support Goodwill because their prices are crazy, but no more changing rooms.
Like family-owned restaurants, my favorite boba place.
Loving Hut's a great example.
Loving Hut's a good example.
Small little restaurant down in Winter Park.
No, it's on Colonial. So they have several locations. The Loving Hut is honestly very inspiring because they are a fully plant-based Asian place. They also sell some American food.
I wanted to speak on how long I've been vegan and how growing up eating meat has been different back then as it is now. Yeah. So I was vegetarian coming out of treatment when I met Janina. I only drank milk. No, I only consumed milk and chocolate. That was the only animal product I consumed. I didn't drink milk. I drank oat milk. I didn't eat eggs. I didn't eat any other meat. So going vegan was fairly simple for me. I just needed help because coming out of treatment, I was in a very difficult place with eating and stuff like that, and I wanted to eat better and feel better in the way I ate too. So she helped me a lot with doing that, and I thank her for that. And it has been a hard journey, but I've been vegan for almost a year.
1.5 years.
1.5 years, yeah.
A good thing to say. I've been vegan for about 7 years now. I went vegetarian first in 2013. At the time, it was mostly because of my eating disorder. That was kind of the start of it. But I started learning more about animal welfare, about the suffering of animals in factory farms and animal agriculture, and it made me realize that I didn't want to allow animals to suffer anymore. It was something that I came to outside of my eating disorder, where I felt connected to my soul. You know?
That makes sense. That's where I feel like I'm at right now in my point of life, where I'm eating very clean, very plant-based, plant-based. Animal friendly, plant-based. But like the way the way I eat now versus back then is 10 times better. Like even
I know. I like to say that my horizons got so broadened when it came to me being vegan. I started eating so many different foods that I didn't eat before.
It's allowed me.
It's been so much better for my diet.
It's honestly helped me with my eating disorder more because I'm not forced to try different things. I'm open-minded to trying more things, more fruits, more veggies, more different products, different things. Like right now, I'm eating a lot of food because one, I am constantly working out almost every day. My job is very physically demanding. So I'm do have to eat more to be able to keep going. I'll say that. But, like, it's just a lot more eye-opening seeing everything that I can eat.
Yeah, and what's stronger than flexibility? You know what I mean?
And it's helped me in
being open-minded.
In the kitchen, too, with versifying what I eat, trying new things, eating different things. Every night it's almost a different meal. It's a different taste. Like it's amazing to what being and having a plant-based diet can do. It's not just constant meat, steak, chicken, that boring old meal, the mundane of eating meat every day, going to a restaurant. I don't have the convenience to order a fast food chain like off my phone. I have to
so much better in the kitchen.
I have to eat different things. I have to try different things. And it's helped me like broaden my horizons on the food.
Yeah.
But you can speak on you're a great cook. She's an amazing cook.
I've been teaching them how to cook.
Yeah, she's been teaching me how to cook and stuff like that. I'm not the best cook, but I like my own food. That's what I do. So I mean, but yeah. But you've been vegan for 7 years?
Yeah, I've been vegan for about 7 years, and I think I made the switch. This is actually a good story. I made the switch the first day of a cruise that I was on with my family. And if you've been on a cruise, you know how hard that is because there are literally desserts shoved in your face at the buffet every single day. They have one whole island that has like
I'm curious
desserts all over it.
To what your papa thought of that. What did he think?
I think he thought that I was relapsing, but
I was thinking that when you said that.
Yeah, but really for me, I was saying no.
Was it a good test of your?
It was a great test for me because I went to the gym they had on the ship like almost every day and did like a little workout or did yoga. And I woke up at like 7 a.m. to do the yoga on the beach class that they had at one of the stops.
You wake up at 7 a.m. with me.
I was really trying stuff, okay? I felt like it was a time for me to do things differently than I did in the world where I lived. It was the perfect opportunity to do something different. And I said, hey, I know it sounds crazy, but I'm going to try it. And yeah, my desserts at some of the special like dinners that we had were fruit, but hey, it was really good. That's the dessert of the earth. So
fruit.
Yeah.
I myself have a sweet tooth. I like sweets. typically my sweet that I crave is like a bagel with sun butter and cream cheese. That's my typical go-to sweet. I'll eat like 3 bagels a day. And like back then, I would have thought it was crazy to eat 3 bagels a day, but
Do you
now
like pineapple?
it's okay. I can eat a little bit of it, but my tongue feels like it's going pins and needles.
For me, when
It's
I
going-
was
it's
on
going
the
pin-
cruise,
pins and needles.
that was my favorite thing to eat.
Pineapple.
Yeah, they had these chefs in the morning sometimes that had a table set up, and they would be cutting pineapple and watermelon like fresh for you.
Mm-hmm.
It was really great, honestly.
I think my favorite
Probably
fruit
the only good thing about a cruise, because
I
they
think my
are very
favorite-
bad for the environment. Not gonna lie.
is just the fucking spread open.
Wait, you can see her.
Yeah,
Oh, not the dog. Pussy.
she likes to sleep like that. But anyways, I would say my favorite fruit now is probably bananas or blueberries.
Bananas are great. They're very versatile.
Mm-hmm.
If you know anything about vegan baking, bananas are a huge part of it. Makes it very good.
Yeah, today we made protein banana pancakes. Really, really, really good. Like when I went vegan, I always thought of it was all about the food, eating plant-based eating,
it's very holistic.
eating certain
It's a way of
things.
life.
But she's taught me that
It's an ethical stance.
it's also a way of living. The clothes we buy, the soap we use, the down to the toothpaste we use, the toothbrushes we use, it's all ethical, holistic. That's the right term.
Yeah,
It's
and
all
sometimes it can be
that
difficult.
It is. It's sometimes it's
because-
very difficult.
Because I feel like I try to live more zero waste and plastic free, because I think plastic is just as harmful to the environment, but it can be hard to find some alternatives that don't use plastic, because there are a lot of toothbrushes out there that use like boar hair as the bristles for zero waste and like plastic free.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it'll be a byproduct from factory farming to get like the hair from boars and pigs and stuff. So, instead of using plastic bristles, because they typically use like nylon bristles,
Okay.
but unfortunately that's not vegan, because I don't want to support that, right?
Yeah.
Because I know it is supporting the industry that I don't agree with.
Uh-huh.
And it's not coming from a sustainable point of view when it comes to the animals, right?
Mm-hmm.
It would be better if it was just like, oh, we just trimmed the hair and they're still alive. It's
Yeah.
not that.
Um.
Do you want me to talk a little bit more about the beginnings of my veganism?
Yeah. Talk about what. Okay. I want you to talk about what made you go vegan. What was the turning point when you decided to stand up to your family, especially your father?
Yeah. So when I went on that cruise and I was vegan for that whole week, I didn't stop. I mean, when I came home, it was like
And when was that? What
cold
year was
turkey.
that? Do you know?
It's been about 7 years. So I want to say 2016,
2016?
2017.
That was the year I
something like that.
graduated. That was the year I graduated high school.
Yeah. So for me, I was sort of vegan, like vegan vegetarian
Because
in high
I know
school.
before that you went to Germany and you were vegetarian.
Yeah. So when I graduated from high school,
Mm-hmm.
I went to Germany with my sister because my uncle lives there. So we went on a little trip, and while I was there, I did eat like real ice cream and real cheese and cream cheese and stuff, because I wasn't vegan at the time. I was
Which
vegetarian.
is completely fine
right?
to do.
But
Now you're vegan, so you don't.
Yeah, so I don't do that anymore, but I went slowly into veganism, and part of it is because going cold turkey is never a good idea when it comes to your diet, because it's just one of those things that ends up being like a yo-yo effect.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, since 2013, when I went vegetarian, I was slowly cutting out dairy until I decided it was time. So in 2013, I would have, like, for instance, beans and rice with cheese on top, like, all the time. Then I stopped doing that, and I stopped using cream cheese at a certain point and used avocado instead. So good. Yeah, and then there were times when I would just have desserts. Then I changed it to having ice cream, which is frozen bananas blended with a little bit of, like, a plant-based milk or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And just, like, having that as, like, a soft serve ice cream, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I made these little switches over time, and that is the best way that I can say you can do this, if you don't have somebody helping you, because I didn't.
Yeah.
It was all on my own. People always ask me, is there anybody else in your family that's vegan? No, it's just me. And sometimes I do feel depressed about it because I feel like I'm not good enough, that I haven't tried hard enough.
Speaking from outside perspective and views,
for me.
When I first met Janina, she was very, very helpful in the way I ate because I was coming out of treatment. I
tried not to pressure you either.
I know, and making the switch, she always told me that when I wanted to, she would help me. She didn't force me to. She didn't do anything like that. I mean, it was easier. Yeah. It was easier for me to switch to full veganism because she put the facts down in front of me and she just laid it out for me. She didn't tell me.
We went halfway through a documentary. It's called Earthlings.
I'm not watching that. We got
halfway through it. And we couldn't finish it because we were bawling our eyes out so much.
I was crying so much, but
because seeing that brutality just,
it's very, very hard to think about. But going back to what I was saying, like I said before, like all I did was eat like the occasional chocolate with milk in it, and that was it. So making the switch was very simple, very easy. But she wanted to make sure I was ready. She wanted to make sure I was eating enough. Like starting out, it was very hard. Starting out was very challenging because I was relapsing back and I was going back to treatment at the time too. So it was very difficult to make that decision to eat more and to eat plant-based and all animal-based. But she helped me tremendously. Ari, stop. They just went swimming, so they're gonna have little
itchy ears.
Yeah, itchy ears.
Yeah.
But.
Well, I learned from the past that I used to be very regimented. Late high school and through college, especially, I was very much hardcore environmentalist. Like, I'm still very much about the environment now. But I was to the point of arguing with my family.
Oh, yeah. Her father is very meat-oriented. Meat.
Yeah,
when we're eating dinner.
Also waste and convenience and stuff like that.
When we're
it's been very challenging, and I learned
dinner,
that it's not a good way to do it.
He'll want us to eat dinner with him. It's just like a family thing. Yeah. And I'm very controversial about it because I'm strong in my beliefs. I'm strong in if we eat food,
She's in the corner.
I want it to be everything. Oh, yeah, I need to let her out. Hang on.
Yep.
But as I was saying before, like when we're eating dinner, it's very hard to eat around them and eat with them because they'll have a full.
I've talked to them about
they'll have a full plate of chicken wings.
Just
30,
chicken
40,
legs, okay?
50.
My dad's favorite thing to cook, and I'm not trying to bash my family, but my dad's favorite thing to cook is lemon chicken legs, like in the oven, and it's just like 20 legs or something like that. And I'm like, you know how many chickens you had to kill just for their legs? You couldn't just get 2 full chicken bodies? Like, this is to a level of disregard to me and to the animals that I just don't like, but I can't say anything about it anymore. I used to tell my family that I didn't like to eat with them when they had steak and when they had things that had bones because it was too real for me.
To me,
they didn't understand that. They tried to respect it for a little bit, then they forgot about it.
When we eat with her family, we have to cook our own stuff. And when your dad's like, what are you eating? I'm like, well, we could all eat as a family and eat what, like, I want sometimes. Not all the time. It's fine if you want to eat whatever you want. Like, the things that makes me happy is when he cooks rice. He loves to eat rice. He always uses regular butter. When he uses vegan butter,
he says it tastes different.
It tastes different, but to me, it makes me happy that he's
trying. About me? Yeah, like it's the do you care about me enough to do that? And I feel like I can't say anything because, and this happens a lot in society because it's our choice to be vegan. Mm-hmm. We can't complain.
That's what I feel very bad about.
And that hurts me a lot.
Is complaining when it's just our views, our way of living, our ethics.
Yeah.
And when
it's just insensitive.
When we go out to places to eat, like we never go out to a vegan restaurant.
You remember how mad I got at Happy Lemon?
Like when she graduated, she wanted to go to this place called Ethos, and it's all vegan, all plant-based, and when we graduated, he's like, we're gonna go. Where did we go to again?
I don't know.
It was
Not
we went
there,
to that. We went to like
Carrabba's?
no, we went to that like place
Oh,
down.
Agave Azul.
No, we went to
Yeah,
that.
we went to Agave Azul, didn't we?
No, we didn't.
Where did we go?
Right after graduation, when you graduated, you said you
we
wanted
went
Ethos.
to that Island Wing.
We went to like a bar, a sports bar that had like wings and crap. And I'm like,
they
babe,
did have something for us,
but
at what cost?
But it's for graduation. It's like what you want is what you want.
He told me that we could do it another day because it was late.
Have we gone?
And stuff. No, we haven't gone, and I knew that was gonna happen.
It just bugs me. Like it's the point. It's your.
This is why I have tension in my family. It's part of why it's really hard for me and my dad to get
It just makes me sad
close.
because
he
always
wants to be close to me.
He does, but he always says like you're his little girl.
But he doesn't know how because he doesn't know the problem comes to this.
Yeah.
It comes to my values and the fact that he doesn't respect them. And, I really didn't want it to get to bashing my family, but that's what happens in society. I'm not bashing my family.
It's not bashing your family.
He doesn't respect my values.
You have different views and different values, and if someone doesn't respect your values, then it shows.
Yeah, he doesn't have to.
It's not bashing. It's disrespectful.
Yeah.
And you're very respectful
That's
to your
true,
family.
I think I don't give myself enough credit, and I don't let myself stand up for myself a lot.
No, you don't.
Because I feel like I'm not allowed to, but it costs nothing to respect someone. You don't have to understand them. You don't have to understand why. You just have to respect. And a lot of people don't understand that. It's the same thing that people go through. People not understanding why people are gay. Why people don't align with the gender they were born, assigned at birth, right? Stuff like that. It all comes down to respect. You don't have to love someone. You don't have to like them. You don't have to agree with them. You don't have to understand. You really don't have to understand. You just have to respect it.
We have friends
because it has nothing to do with you.
We have friends who eat meat. That's fine. But they respect us. If we eat, they have a vegan option.
I had a friend who all the time would talk about how bad it felt and how awful it was, and in a funny way that every time we didn't hang out a lot, but every time we hung out, it was when they were eating an obscene amount of meat. And they didn't mean for that to happen. It just happened. And they're like, I'm so sorry, Janina. I know what's happening right now, and I feel really bad about it. But I don't have anything else to eat right now.
But back to what I was
really funny.
Back to what I was saying. We have friends who eat meat, and they respect us. We have a friend. We're not gonna name names or anything, but we have a friend. We sometimes go to parties too, and they'll have always a vegan option for us, even if it's just the smallest thing, like a vegan cookie. It means a lot.
It means a lot to know that people care enough to consider how we live.
If we go to a place and we go to a function, one of our friends is hosting, and they know we're vegan. We've been friends for a while, and they don't have anything for us. I
feel like it's a slap in the face.
I do
not
feel
gonna
like
lie.
that too.
I don't want to say that so harshly, but it does feel that way. I love my friends, and I appreciate everything that they do, and the fact that they love me and want to spend time with me.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel as authentic if they don't take my veganism into consideration, because it's a part of me. It's a part of my identity. It's a part of how I exist in the world.
And I know we're jumping around a lot and stuff, but this is all connected.
It's even connected to our channel, the way that, the Sacred Grove, it's really about being connected to who you are, being connected to the earth that we live on, and the spiritual presence of this planet, and the animals that we share it with, the plants that we share it with. It's about recognizing that spirit in everything, right?
I'm getting ready to move out, so this might be the last podcast you see in this room. And when I have my apartment, I want it to be a safe place for people to come to, and if people want to bring food into that place, I want it to be very respectful. When I eat, I want it to be my place, my food. I want it to,
the same way.
When I host a function, I want it to be you don't have to bring anything. We'll cook. It's fine. You can bring something if you want to, but just know we will offer you what we have. We have food.
I love cooking for people, and I would love to share my food with more people.
People don't realize how good plant-based food can be. They'll just not eat it because it's...
Listen, most food is plant-based, and even meat doesn't taste good until people season it with plants.
Yeah. It's like...
That's the thing that drives me mad. It's like so funny to me.
I get from like me working out. I know how it's very hard to build muscle, and it's very
it can be hard. I mean, I know meat is it's a very easy protein source because it's high in protein.
I also supplement a lot of my protein for protein powder, like a lot. Like I do like 4 scoops a day of protein powder. It's a lot, and I know like a lot of plant-based tofu tempeh has a very high protein content. Like like tempeh,
half a block of the tofu I have at home gives me 22 grams of protein for one meal.
That's a lot. And
that's great.
People don't understand how
that's all you need.
People don't understand how easy it is and how much better it is for your body to eat just plant-based, because a lot of the meat that you're eating is very high in cholesterol. It's very high in these bad things for you.
There's lots of misconceptions out there about soy and about animal products. So soy does not make men's breasts get bigger. They do not make anyone's breasts get bigger. You know what does? Dairy.
Dairy is very bad. It causes acne.
Dairy causes all the problems that people think soy causes, okay? People think soy is the problem. It's not. It really is not.
I don't like saying this, but half the time you're drinking milk, it's majority. Don't listen to this. You don't want to get grossed out. So just fast forward like 30 seconds, okay? Most of the time you're drinking milk, it's blood, it's pus, it's nasty stuff that you don't even want to even think about drinking.
Well, people are going to say, oh, it's pasteurized, so it's fine.
But have they seen a cow get milked before? Have they seen any of this?
Many people haven't, because we're very disconnected from it. In modern society, our way of life has been so manicured to the point where it can be so easy to feel like you're living in such a nice way and that there's no gross things that you have to deal with, right? Most of us don't see blood on a daily basis, right? In the past, people would literally have their own animals outside, bring it in, say it's time to make some food, and kill the animal, right? We don't live like that anymore. That's not how humans live anymore in our modern society. I know there's places around the world that still live like that, which I commend because they're living a lot closer to, original man.
Like I'll go back to the reference. Like, I know it's a movie. I get it. It's a movie. But the Avatar reference.
It's based on real things, though.
It's very spiritual. It's very connected to the earth, to the animal. They're sitting there. They're waiting.
And they don't take more than they need.
No.
That is a big point. They don't take more than they need.
They go out and they hunt a deer. That will last them months. That itself will last them months.
Yeah. Well, capitalism doesn't operate on getting only what you need.
No.
Capitalism operates on everyone getting as much as they want. Well, I think what the point is really that we just want to be respected for the way that we live. Because humans, like throughout all of history, we're just trying to live the way we feel is right. And I have faced my cognitive dissonance, and I continue to face cognitive dissonance in a lot of things. It doesn't just have to do with eating animals. It has to do with feeling like, say, you think you live a healthy lifestyle, but then you don't work out at all, or you don't eat healthy foods or vegetables, right?
Yeah.
That makes you feel guilty. That's cognitive dissonance right there. It's a disconnect between your perceptions and your reality. I'm constantly trying to bring that into alignment because it makes me feel more true to myself. I try to understand how I'm truly feeling in the moment when I'm experiencing things in my life, because a lot of the time I act as if I'm wearing a mask and trying to please people around me, right? My veganism is a way that I live for myself, where I am not pleasing other people, where I live to please myself and to feel good about the way that I live, right? And that's why I continue doing it.
I, for one, have, like, I just realized this, like, light bulb. But being vegan has given me more confidence and more awareness to what's around me. In a sense,
I have
to
so
where
much more awareness to the world.
In a sense to where, like, if I go out to eat, I'll look at a menu and I'll realize what I can eat and how much food they're actually wasting when I see these people not even eat what's on their plate. And me, I, for one, like to finish what's on my plate. I don't like wasting food. We always bring these Tupperwares out when we eat.
Okay, so part of my veganism is part of my zero waste lifestyle. I bring these flat out Tupperwares. They're called flat outs, where they like go like
they're like a collapsible.
They're collapsible container with a lid, and I bring them in like a little like net bag to the restaurant. And when I go out to eat with my family, I bring like 10 of them, right? So we did that the other night for my dad's birthday. And I filled almost every container. You know how much styrofoam I just saved? Styrofoam is the worst plastic for the environment.
And
it
like
hurts.
being vegan is just the tip of the iceberg.
It's
like
so good that I did that.
Yeah, like we like being we like being very zero waste. We like reusing a lot. Like it's not sometimes it's seemed as hoarding. It seemed as
like pack rat. Like I have so much stuff in my room.
You're just conserving everything, but there's a purpose for everything. It may not be now or next week or next month. It may be like months down the road. And but we reuse a lot of the things that we throw away. Yeah. And like when we eventually have our own space, have our own house, we can make our own. We're going to have a food waste bin, a recycle bin, a compost bin. Like we're not going to waste a single thing. And if it'll
take time.
And it is going to take time.
Yeah,
but if
part of the problem is this convenience.
If we as a whole collective did that, you know how much better the environment would be, how much better our sense of saving, how much money we would save,
our sense of security would be so different.
How much like livelihood we would save, how much like everything we would save so much. And it drives me crazy how much food we waste, how much things we waste. And it's just like
if I could say anything about this is that society does not want you to be self-sufficient because it makes them money. It makes them, the businesses and everything, corporate interests, it makes them money for us to rely on them. They don't want us to be self-sufficient. No. They want us to rely on everything outside of ourselves and say that we can't do this. We don't have the skills that our forefathers had, right? No. Or foremothers had, you know? We don't know all of the uses of different medicinal herbs and plants. No. We don't know how to grow our own food.
And it's sad. Nothing. It's sad that we've gotten so distant from these, like, what we used to think was everyday living. Like, it's
that's
crazy.
Why I hoard shit, because I know that we will need it someday. That's okay. Part of this minimalist view, perception of like the modern style of living, is so that we still rely on these companies that say, "Oh, well, if you don't have it, just buy a new one."
Yeah.
But I already have it.
It just baffles my mind that in some places, like, you can't have a garden, you can't grow things in the soil in your own backyard.
There's a lot of HOAs that don't allow you to grow vegetables, and I've read about it before. It's even been in some fictional novels, but it is real. It is real. They want you to plant ornamental stuff, not edibles.
Yeah.
Okay? They don't want you to plant edible foods.
Like, I just wish...
And that's for a reason.
Like, we're so far disconnected from our roots. And, like, we're trying. We try every day to get back to our roots. Every weekend, we go out in nature. We spend at least 2-3 hours out there. We try to...
And I constantly realize how little I know.
We try to connect with nature. You know? And we're not perfect. We try our best to do everything, to... learn new things. Okay. It's hard. It's very hard in the space we have right now because, 1, we do still live with our parents. 2, we are still very young. And 3, we live in a society that looks down on the way we act, the way we live. And it's very hard to rebel against that. But we try every day to...
But how powerful is it to rebel
I was about to say...
It?
I was going to say, it's
extremely powerful.
It's very powerful.
Because we have power.
Yeah,
youth has power.
We have power. We have authority. We don't want to get stomped out underneath the man per se. Like, it's very hard to live the way we live, but we live it to the way that we seem deemable to the way that we want to live. And like it's very hard. Like when we go out and we eat, like we say, like we can't eat this because of the way we live. We can't eat this because of the way we act. Like we can't eat this because of the way we believe.
I mean, it can be hard because we have to be on our toes sometimes to other people's questions. Yeah. I mean, I have family members that do ask very insensitive or random questions, or will kind of poke fun at what I'm eating.
Like what really got me was when your family member said like, this is plant-based to the plate. Like,
yeah, I was told I could eat a plate because it didn't have dairy or eggs or meat in it.
Like, I get it's funny, but I also get
it's hilarious to poke fun at like, the way that I don't want to kill animals or hurt them. Wow.
But you're eating that nasty crap on your plate that's full of
like, I don't
blood, nasty shit. Like me, she's too nice. She won't say that. Well, I don't say that in front of her family because I respect them.
That there's other perspectives, but at the same time, it does make me sad that the majority of my family will never see it the way I do and will never be aware of the harm that they cause to the planet.
It's very sad.
And that the way that
it just hurts.
Everyone is living the status quo is not good. People, like I said, people live in cognitive dissonance. They want to say, I'm a great person. I'm going to heaven. I've been amazing. I'm a blessing in everyone's lives. And, there's nothing that is going to, no one is going to tell me I've been sinful, right? But it's just not true. We just tell ourselves that. And I know that I tell myself things like that too, that I'm better than I think. But there's always something that you can improve. There's always some ways that we don't live true to our values. Part of it is the way that this society is around us. I am very ignorant sometimes to what's happening in the world. That's natural because society doesn't want us to know all the famines in the world, all the wars, the fact that our tax dollars are used to fund genocide.
Yeah, me myself.
They don't want us to know that.
I stay very disconnected from the news. I don't watch the news. I barely go on social media.
I mean, it hurts because we know it's almost impossible to stop it.
Yeah.
But we do have power as a collective, and I think people forget that.
Yeah, we do.
So that's why I've been very passionate about spreading the word about one of the actual, like the only good presidential candidate we have.
Oh, yes.
And her name is Dr. Jill Stein.
Yes.
She is the only person from the Green Party that is running for president right now. And she's the only one that is anti-genocide and is for the people and the planet and is invested in using the money that we have to help us at home. Not about going and starting more wars out there, but using that money to invest in actual people that need it here. Everyone.
The everyday working man or woman.
The everyday person. Us. People who need places to live. People who need livable wages. All of that. And caring about the environment and making sure that we are stopping this climate crisis because nobody else cares about it.
No,
because corporate interest does not care about it. Fossil fuels have been running our elections for so long. The lobbyists and everything that pay into politics, they don't care. They really don't care that we are sending our grandchildren, our children, our great-grandchildren, everyone who's coming after us into like the abyss right now. That they are going to suffer.
It's so scary
to
really
think about. They really don't care. They just want to live for the now. And so many people, like so many of the people that are benefiting are old as okay? And they're not going to live to see all of the treachery. No. They're not, but we might be.
Yeah.
And we have a way to stop it.
It's extremely scary.
If we use our vote right. That's why I've been advocating for Jill Stein so hard because the Green Party always fights for the progressive stance. Fights for the people and the planet because it's not funded by corporate interest. It's only funded by the people. Yeah. And she's actually on the ballot in the majority of states. She has the ability to win the electoral college. So if you think that using your vote on her is a waste of your vote, you're wrong.
It's not
gonna mean that Trump wins. We have to be a collective about this.
As of today, July
just saying,
July 21st, Biden has dropped out. He's supporting Kamala Harris.
So,
but
a lot of the Democrats, a lot of people in Congress have been endorsing Harris, but it's just the same as endorsing Biden. Mm-hmm. It's not going to change anything.
But
you should not use your vote on a Democrat right now.
As a partnership, as a relationship, we support Jill Stein. We support Jill Stein. We will put all
we're going to put a link to her platform in the bio so you can see it, and her Instagram, so that you can follow along.
By all means, we're not forcing you
We're not trying to tell you what to do.
We just want you to
We're just very passionate.
We are very
be
passionate.
Open-minded.
Just be open-minded. Look at all the facts around you. Look at everything around you.
If you don't know anything about Project 2025, please look it up, because that is what the Republicans want to do.
Yes.
And it's not good for any of us.
No.
Especially for our survival.
Yeah.
It really is not good.
Just be open-minded to the way you think. Be open-minded to the way you act. Just if you take away one thing away from this podcast, just be open-minded. Look at all the facts around you and take that in.
Don't be afraid to be open-minded.
Yeah.
That is your power.
Yeah.
Because being closed off and only listening to sources that you trust, like, already, it narrows your perspective, right? I watched a little bit of the Republican National Convention. I'm not going to say that I've never seen anything about Republicans before, because that would make me feel like a hypocrite. I've looked at this stuff. I understand the other sides, okay? I try to see and understand everything. What I know is that it's not good.
Yeah.
And we have power to do something.
We do.
With our vote. And I want everyone to understand that, because it does feel very hopeless sometimes.
It does. It feels very suffocating to live in this. Like, it feels like we're deteriorating. It feels like we're
and everything gets taken away, but
it might feel like we're going in the right direction. But think about if you're young. Think about your children, your children's children. Think about how they'll live. Think about the way
think about your life right now. I mean, if you don't plan on having kids, because a lot of people don't, think about your life right now, because it could change so drastically in an instant based on the policies that are passed by the government, and who
just think about
gets the presidency this year. And you want to have a say. If you are voting age, you really do want to have a say, and that is the best way that we can use our power. That is how this country was founded. And as much as I don't like the founding of this country and the way that it was based on the slaughter of millions of Native people, the only thing I like is that it was based on democracy and voting. And so, for the people having power. That was the original intent, is for the people to have power.
Like I said, if you take away one thing from this podcast,
everyone should have the power to vote right now.
Be open-minded. Look at everything around you. Take in everything. And just look at the facts. Look at the things that are happening around us. Open your mind to the things happening. Don't be blind by the corporations that are feeding you lies and feeding you false advertisement. Just look at everything around you. And that's
as much as I wish Native people still had control over this land, that's a long way to go. And we're doing what we can.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I know we've jumped around a lot on this podcast.
We really have.
But we got very passionate very fast, and we just...
I hope that you still listen and you still take our perspectives into consideration, because we're not trying to attack.
No, we're not.
We're just sharing our perspective, and truthfully, it is just how we exist in the world.
Yes.
And what feels right for us.
And if
you look into the eyes of, like, an animal today, just think about the words that we've said and understand that they are experiencing consciousness just as you are, and how powerful that is.
And if you disagree with anything we said, that's fine. Just don't be hateful. Don't be mean. It's just gonna come back on you. Negative energy. If you give out negative energy, you get negative energy. Okay.
Exactly. It's a give and take.
Just everyone has their own opinions.
You get good.
Everyone has their own opinions. And everyone has their own take. By all means, if you have a different opinion, put it down in the comments. We will look at it. We will consider it. But
we're open to hearing things that people say.
We're not we're not closed-minded people.
But we don't want hate.
We don't want hate. This is not a hateful place. This is a positive place, a positive community. We want to build a community that supports each other, that aligns with our beliefs, aligns with how we look at things. And like I said, just look at all the facts. Look at things around you. Just look at the things around you. Don't be blinded. Don't have your blinders on to the things around you.
Yeah, and if you haven't been convinced, we're going to include clips, pictures of many different cute animals for you after this, for our for our credits. So
I'll put in a couple
thank
cute
you for that.
pictures. I'll put in our favorite animals.
Please put in a few pictures for people to look at.
Okay, I will. Don't worry. But we hope you enjoyed this take on veganism, on the way we live, on what we believe in.
Thank you for being here.
Yes, we appreciate you, and we hope you enjoyed this podcast, and we hope to keep giving you podcasts like this.
Yeah.
On the way
and
things we
let
believe.
Us know.
There we go.
Let us know anything else you might want us to talk about.
Let us know
if it's related to this or if it's completely different.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of stuff we could talk about, as you've heard. So yeah. Well, thank you for being a part of this.
Thank you. Yes, we appreciate you guys,
and I hope you continue being a part of our sacred grove.
But yeah, we'll see you guys in the next podcast then.
Bye.
Bye.
Here, let's do a little cheers.
Okay, to being vegan.
To being vegan.
I was scratching her. I was scratching her.
There's our little baby over there.
Yeah, our Ava over here and Arya's back here.